Hi, this is Mindy. This is just a quick flow, so something you can kind of fit in your week whenever you need it. We're going to be working on quite a bit of ab work, some like core strengthening. Um, so that's about it. This class is not done with the blocks. So if you don't have blocks, you don't have to worry. But if you typically do use blocks during a class, throw them in where you need them. You can use them whenever you need them. So we're going to get started just from a seated position. So just kind of get comfortable, bring the hands above the knees, palms up or palms down, whatever you're most comfortable with. Kind of bring those shoulders back above the hips, relax them down, close down the eyes. We're going to begin focusing on our breath. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Maybe working towards that inhale of 5 and exhale of 5. Really rooting down through those sitting bones into the mat. You're reaching the crown of the head up as you push down into the mat. Right, take a couple breaths here in through the nose and out through the nose. Really intentionally filling up that belly first. One more breath here in through the nose and out through the nose, opening up the eyes, relaxing those shoulders. One more time, we're going to take that right ear towards the right shoulder. Maybe the left ear towards the left shoulder. And then coming up, we're going to lay all the way back to do our hamstring work. So we're going to lay all the way back down. Bring the knees up into the chest, roll right and left. Maybe take the knees in a circle. We're going to drop that left heel, kick up the right. So we have a couple kicks here. Extend that heel up towards the ceiling. Pull the toes back towards you. Interlace behind that thigh. Pull that leg in close. You can stay here or extend that left heel to the end of the mat. Really breathe into that hamstring. All right, bend the knee, take it over to the left. Keep that right shoulder blade grounded. Come back to the center, drop that right heel, and begin kicking up the left. So give a couple kicks here. Extend that heel up towards the ceiling. Pull the toes back towards you. Interlace behind that thigh. Pull that leg in close. You can stay here or take that right heel to the end of the mat. And bend that knee, take it over to the right. Keep that left shoulder blade grounded. Come back to the center. We're going to take both heels up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands up. We're going to try to touch those toes. Engage the core muscles for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees. Maybe keep that chin lifted. We're going to pull the chin up. Try not to cave in towards the chest. And reach towards the toes again with the knees bent for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll up, knees in front, into a seated position. We're going to bring the hands out in front. Really engage those core muscles. We're going to pull back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross the feet. Come back to center. So we're going to come back to a boat pose later and do a little bit more core work, but we'll do that in a little bit, so you don't need to worry about it yet. We're going to take that right hand up, left hand comes up and over, stretching out that left side. And coming up, right hand or left hand comes up, right hand comes up and over. And coming up, we're going to come over to hands and knees. and come into our cat-cow. So I'm going to fix my mic. Come back. Hands right below the shoulders, hips right below the hips. We're going to come into 3 rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, arch the back, tuck the tailbone. Exhale, drop the heart, look up. So we're doing this opposite way this time. So we're going to inhale, arch the back, tuck the tailbone. Exhale, arch the back and look up. Really firm up the core area. Again, inhale, arch the back. Exhale, drop that heart, look up, and then come to a flat back. We're going to take that right heel to the back of the mat, push through. And then lifting it up, we're going to take that right hand up in the air. And then dropping that hand, we're going to kick that foot up. So we're going to bend in the knee, kick it up towards the ceiling, firming up that core area for 3, 2, 1. Bring it out. We're going to do the same thing. Pulse that heel up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, 1. And bring it down. Push back into child's pose. And then pushing up the hands and knees. We're going to do the other side. Left heel pushes back. All right, going to lift that back heel. Lift up that left hand. Bring that left hand down. We're going to bend the knee. Pulse up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, 1. Bring that heel to the back of the mat. Press up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, 1. And come back. We're going to come into our first downward dog of the class. So we're going to bring our hands slightly forward. Press into that thumb and index. Curl the toes. Lift the hips. Maybe pedal out the feet. Make sure those hands are about shoulder distance apart. Hips are kind of lined up towards the feet. So the feet are about hip distance apart. And then when you're ready, push the heart towards the thighs. Push the hips towards the back of the mat. We'll take a couple deep breaths here. In through the nose and out through the nose. And looking up towards the top of the mat. Step it up. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale the hands up overhead. Exhale the hands to heart center. We're going to do one sun A. It's going to be kind of a doozy. So we're going to do a bunch and that one sun A. So inhale the hands up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, step back into plank. And roll forward on those tiptoes. Bring those elbows in tight to the ribs. As you lower down, tops of the toes glued to the mat. Hands right by the ribs. We're going to pull those hip points up towards the ribs. Firm up the core. As you lift the crown of the head. Pull that heart forward. And come down. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Bring that right hand forward. Left heel comes in towards the tush. Let that go. Left hand comes forward. Right hand comes in. Pulls that heel in. And let that go. Bring the hands to the ribs. Press up into plank. You want those hands right under the shoulders. Kind of tuck that heart down towards the mat. Shoulder blades come down the back. Push those heels. We're going to drop those heels over to the left. Reach up that right hand. Right hand comes down. We're going to bring those heels over to the right and reach up the left. Both hands come down. Press back into downward dog. Looking towards the top of the mat. Step it up. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale the hands up overhead. Exhale the hands to heart center. You're going to push the same bones back and down, coming into your chair pose. So all the weight is in your heels. You're firming up that core area. We'll take a deep breath here and let it go. Inhale halfway. Exhale, step back into downward dog. We're going to take that right leg up into the air. Bring it in, kick it through, spin that back heel, come up to warrior two. So make sure that knee is not tracking the ankle, that it's kind of lining up towards that center of the foot, all 5 toes pointed forward, laying those hips and shoulders up to the side of the mat. Now flip that front palm, reach it up and back. Straighten up that front leg so you've got a little bit further pull back on your reverse triangle. And then coming right back into side angle, bring that forearm to the thigh or that hand down to the mat. We're going to hug in that left knee, pull that left shoulder back. And then bring both hands down, unhook that back heel, drop into a low lunge, and then kick back into downward dog. We'll do the other side. That left heel reaches up, flex the toes towards the shin, and then kick it through. Spin that back heel, come up into warrior two on this side. So hands come out straight out. Make sure that that knee is tracking over the second toe. Hips and shoulders line to the side of the mat. Maybe lift the hip points. Pull that tailbone down. All right, flip that front palm, reach it up and back. And then straighten that front leg, pulling the hands up and back a little bit more, kind of tucking in that left hip, and then bending that front knee again, coming into side angle. Either bring that left forearm to the thigh or down to the mat. If you have a block, you can grab that, and then pull that right shoulder back. Bring both hands down, slide that, kind of unhook that back heel, drop into a low lunge. And then kick it back into downward dog. Looking towards the top of the mat, step it up. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale the hands up overhead. We're going to push the same bones back and down from chair pose. So really pushing them back, lift the chest, relax the shoulders. We're going to come all the way down and sit down on your mat. Okay, so we're coming into our last boat pose. So we're going to bring the feet forward. Hands are going to come below the thighs. So you have lots of options here, but we're going to firm up the core area. As we come back, you pull the chest up. So that's really the most important movement, is firming up the core, but pulling the chest up. So you can stay here. You can bring one foot up, maybe the other, still pulling up. Maybe one hand comes forward, maybe the other. Maybe one leg straightens, maybe the other. There we go. And then coming back, pulling hands forward. So this should feel pretty good after that. All right, bring the hands over to the right. Maybe that left hand pulls out. Coming back over. Maybe that right hand pulls out a little further. We're going to come back and come into a tabletop. So the feet are hip distance apart. Hands are back behind, palms facing down, and then the fingers are facing you. So we're going to inhale, firm up the core, lift up, come to that flat, lift the chin, kind of squeeze those shoulder blades together, keep the knees in towards the center, and coming down. We're going to do that a couple more times with some variations. So we're going to come up, lift that right foot straight out, bring that heel above the left knee, and sit down. So you can stay here, or you can scrunch up, bring that chest up to meet it, get into that right hip. We'll take a couple breaths here. And then scooch back out, lift up into that tabletop, getting lots of shoulder work here. Bring that right heel down, left heel pulls out, comes above that right knee, comes down, scrunch up. Wherever you land, kind of pull that heart up towards that flat, straight leg there. All right, one last tabletop. We're going to come up, Bring that heel down. Pull up one more time. Bring the hips down. Cross the feet. Bring the hands right in front. We're going to push back into downward dog. So pushing the sitting bones back towards the back of the mat. Really get what you need in that low back. We're going to take that right leg up into the air, bend through the knee. Pull the toes over to the left. Keep the armpits facing the mat. Bring that knee in towards the center. Kick it through. Keep that back heel lifted. Or come up into crescent. So bring the shoulders over the hips. Or come into our funky chair. So dropping into that left knee. Come up. Bring that knee over. The heel over above the right knee. Bring the hands to heart center. Push the sitting bones back and down. Come up. We're going to bring that foot to the back of the mat. Right away, we're going to drop the back knee. Wiggle those toes forward. Pull them back towards you. Reach the crown of the head forward. So getting deeper into that right hamstring. Take some really deep breaths here. We're going to come forward. Lift the back heel. Walk towards the center of the mat. So you got all 10 toes pointed towards the side. We're going to pull the hips forward. Hands right under the shoulders. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Last time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Walk it towards the front of the mat. Kick it back into downward dog. Right away, take that left leg up into the air. Bend through the knee. Pull the toes over to the right. Bring the knees in towards the center. Kick it through. Keep that back heel lifted. Come up into crescent. So bring the shoulders over the hips. Keeping that back heel lifted. We're going to drop into that right knee. Come up. Bring that heel above the knee. Bring the hands to heart center. Sit down into your funky chair. Come up. Bring that foot to the back of the mat. Right away, drop that knee. Wiggle the toes forward. Pull the toes back towards you. Crown of the head reaches forward. All right, this time we're going to bring that knee in. Come to the side of the mat and sit. Okay, so we're going to come into frog pose. This is not the most comfortable pose, but it's really good for those inner thighs. So we're going to do it. We're going to be okay. Okay, so we're going to bring the knees out. And you're going to want to scoot the hips back. You want to pull them forward. So kind of right in line with the knees. We're going to bring that right foot or that left foot forward. You can kind of see my toes pointing out. Then that left comes out. And then we're going to get low. So once you get low, you're really leaning forward. You can pull back just a little bit. Maybe bring the knees out a little wider. But you never want the hips to go back further than the knees. You just keep them right above. Kind of relax those inner thighs. Remember that most of you like me. We'll take a couple deep breaths here. And then curl the feet over, kind of bring them in close. Bring those knees right into the hips. Or keep those back heels lifted. Come up onto those heels. So we've got those toes curled. We're sitting back. And after frog pose, this one doesn't seem so bad. So sit there for just a second. You can always come up if you need to. And then coming back down. We're going to roll all the way back. We're going to do bridge pose, cool down, and we'll be done. All right, so coming all the way back. Bring the knees in towards the chest, rock right and left. And then bring those heels straight down to the mat. Okay, so you want to bring them in close enough that the tips of the fingers can just kind of brush like a paintbrush on the back of those heels. So once you kind of have that, you know you're kind of at that perfect distance, and you want those heels right in front of the hips, so not out, really just right in line, and we want to keep those knees right in line with the hips. So we're going to anchor into those heels, lift the hips so that you come up to those shoulders. You can stay here or bring the hands up underneath, interlace, and press into the backs of the arms. So pull those knees in to be in line with the hips. Kind of firm up the core, firm up the tush. We'll take a deep breath here. And then kind of bringing those shoulders back to come out of this. You're going to pull the sitting bones towards the heels as you roll down. All right, we've done it. We're going to cool down now. All right, take that right heel above the left knee, interlace behind that left thigh, flex both feet, and pull that in as far as you're comfortable. Take a couple deep breaths here. Letting your hands go, you're going to keep the feet just like this. We're going to drop it all the way over to the left. Keep that right shoulder blade grounded and pull that right knee down towards the end of the mat. Come back to the center, cross that leg tighter, drop it over to the right. This time that left shoulder blade stays grounded. Come back, we'll switch it out. So that left heel comes above the right knee. We're going to flex both feet as we bring that knee in close. Interlace behind that right thigh. Really breathing into that left hip. Release the hands. We're going to drop the feet over to the right. Kind of push that left knee away. Left shoulder blade stays grounded. Come back to center, cross those legs. And we're going to drop it over to the left. This time that right shoulder blade stays grounded. Really breathe into that right hip. Come back to center. We'll end with happy baby. Bring the soles of the feet straight up towards the ceiling. Grab the ankles, maybe the pinky sides of the toes. Knees are wide. Bring the knees down towards the mat. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Keep those shoulder blades grounded. Maybe pull that lower back down towards the mat. And let that go. We're going to come into Shavasana. So bring the feet to the end of the mat. Let the toes fall out to the side. Hands away from the body. Palms facing up. Coming back to your breath. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the nose. Working toward that inhale of 5 and exhale of 5. Letting the body slow down. Breathing into any leftover areas of tension or stress. Relax the forehead. Soften the eyes. Let the tongue fall from the roof of the mouth. Relax the jaw and lengthen the throat. Release the shoulders and the hips into the mat. Continue focusing on your breath, letting each cycle get you deeper and heavier into this space. Maybe focusing your mind on a color. As you inhale, let that color get brighter or deeper. As you exhale, let that color get lighter, maybe more faint. Continue that cycle. Then bring your awareness back to the room. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Reach your hands up for a full body stretch. And then bringing the knees up into the chest, rock right and left. Before rocking to your right side, using your right arm as a pillow. Take a moment here to breathe in anything you need. I'll let go of anything you don't need. And then when you're ready, roll up to a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. Chin dipped in gratitude. Taking a moment for the people you have in your life, the connections you make each day. Thank you so much for being part of my connection, being part of the people I get to connect with on a weekly basis. It is such an honor to bring yoga to you. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.